Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this review we are looking at the Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Android 17 model kit, which is very similar to his sister, which is not just a coincidence, but it's a pretty cool kit. I don't know if I like it better or worse than the Goku kit. The Goku one was fairly basic, but it really got the job done well. This one does a lot of things really well, but then it does also have a few issues, so we're going to talk about all of that. So let's go ahead and get off the stand and take a closer look. Now, this guy stands just about 15 3/4 centimeters, probably closer to 16 centimeters, which makes him just about 6 1/4 inches. So he definitely has some size. For a quick size comparison, for all you guys that are curious, he is really quite tall. He's definitely a lot bigger than Goku. You can see the lines are not in scale. A lot of people are asking me about that. They are not in scale. You need to be aware of that. But that doesn't mean it's not cool in its own right. It is a model kit. It's not a figure, so there's no paint. It does have some stickers, and the stickers are actually pretty good. The RR sticker on there is pretty nice. The belt stickers all fit pretty well. This one's okay. You know, it's not bad. It is definitely okay in terms of stickers. I don't mind it. And it's got enough molded plastic to look good, so if you absolutely need this guy to fill in as an action figure, it would probably be good enough. It's just definitely not going to have the same level of detail as you would expect in a Figuarts figure. It is a very inexpensive model kit, so you're going to have to make some sacrifices if you want to go that route. So before we talk about the figure itself, let's talk about accessories. We do have the blast effect, the yellow one, which is made in very nice translucent yellow plastic. We also have his green one, which is very well done, and it has its own little stand that holds it up. If you want to use the stand for the yellow one, you have a nice clear stand with a hinge and an adjustable height, so that's all very nicely done. We do also have an interchangeable belt for this guy, which will help him to connect to a display stand of his own. It does come with stickers that you'll need to apply to it. I just didn't bother because I'm not going to use it. So speaking of stickers, we do have all of the stickers we need for the figure, but we also have interchangeable eye stickers, which like I said in the Android 18 review, I don't recommend. They have the molded eyes. They look good. The stickers are not going to look as good, so probably just leave them off, but that's totally up to you. So we do have two interchangeable faces. We have the one neutral face and the one yelling face, which does require a sticker in the mouth for the red part, which it's not so hard to apply. I didn't have too much trouble, and I didn't use any tweezers or anything. And then we do have some interchangeable hands. We have his two fist hands, two wide open palm hands, and then one trigger finger hand, because he does come with his pistol, and the pistol does have a tab, and the hand does have a tab, so you can get him to hold it very nicely. So that's a nice little touch. One kind of nice bonus feature for this guy is that he does have the self-destruct part inside of his chest. You do have to build it and assemble it and stick it in there, but you really can't get to it once you put them together unless you really want to disassemble the figure. So I'm not too sure that ends up being a great accessory, because you can never see it and you would never know it's there if you didn't put it in. So it's a little bit weird that that's the way it is, but it's in there, so it's kind of a nice nod to the anime at least. So I guess that's all right. Now, I want to point out, just like I said in all of the other ones, I assembled this guy as if I was a kid doing it without any tools, without any care in the world, just yanking on the parts, pulling them off the sprues to see how they would stand up. I actually had no issues with this guy other than with the clear parts. You're going to have to be extra careful. Those are very fragile. So I will say, for those of you that are curious, if you want to give this to your kid, because it's a fairly inexpensive model kit, they will most likely be able to do it as long as your kid's old enough to be putting together a model kit. They can probably handle it. I wouldn't worry too much about parts breaking other than the clear parts, but I do have to recommend using the tools. There are some very small parts, or at least adult supervision to get those parts off the sprues if you're not going to use the tools. It is kid-friendly enough, but I would definitely use at least a little bit of caution, more so than Vegeta and for Goku. Okay, so let's talk about the articulation on this guy. The head has a ball peg going into the head, and then it goes down into the neck. And then the neck itself has a ball peg. Well, no, it's actually a hinge. The neck itself has a hinge. Got it confused with another figure. So the hinge part goes like this, obviously, and then the head on the double ball peg just kind of moves around. But just like his sister, his hair really gets in the way, so he's not going to be able to be posed all that much. It's going to be good enough, but it's mostly going to be a swivel. Now, the shoulders, on the other hand, work really nicely. The butterfly joint comes all the way forward. Of course, it's ugly inside if you use it, but you can get the arm all the way out in front of the chest. So that's really cool. And then you have the joint that lets the shoulder come all the way out to the side. Very nicely executed, full rotation. Very well done. We do have a bicep swivel at the sleeve of the shirt, which is also very well done. And we have a hinge for the elbow, which works very nicely. You get a little bit better than 90 degrees, so I think that's pretty good. Now the wrists, just like the sister again, do sit pretty deep into the sleeves, but his work pretty well, so you get pretty decent range on that ball peg. His diaphragm joint does work very nicely. You get probably the most range out of all of them so far out of that upper diaphragm joint, so that's pretty good. That's just a ball peg. Then you have another ball peg at the waist, but his is probably less effective than some of the other ones. So it's not the best. You can combine the two to get decent posability out of the torso, but it's not going to be particularly impressive. His holster strap does peg in right here, so it'll move around a little bit as is necessary, but this piece right here will definitely block the leg from being able to be posed at least a little bit. Now the hips do work very nicely. They do have the hinge. That'll happen sometimes. They do pop apart. They do have the hinge to drop down a little bit if you need them to. And they go really, really far out to the side. Perfect splits, no problem at all on this side. This side, it's only limited a little tiny bit by the gun, so no big deal there. Now coming forward, this side does get limited. This side does not. You can bring the legs all the way forward. Really great posability. And when you push the legs all the way up, they're almost seamless. So that's very nice. And you do have your thigh swivel built in if you need that. We have a single jointed knee, which is not a good design. I don't know why they went back to doing this, whereas the Goku and the Vegeta figure both have the really nice design. So it's like, you know, they're in development at least a little bit at the same time. How did this one get this design and the other ones had the good design? Or at least Goku had it. So I don't know what's up with that, but it's not terrible. It'll work well enough. It gets decent range. I mean, it's good range. It just doesn't look great. Then lastly, we have the ankles, which are absolutely awful. It's just a single ball peg with almost no range in any direction other than when you pull it off. It's just really not good. As soon as you go to move it, it comes off. So it's really just a swivel. So he's very, very limited in that his ankles are garbage, but the rest of the figure is actually really nice. So I don't know. I mean, it's really nice, but it's almost impossible for him to stand in any way other than straight up and down, leaning slightly forward. So you're going to have to consider that. But he does come with the really nice accessories of the two different blast effects, so that's really cool. So you're going to have to decide what you like. I mean, it's definitely worth the price. It's a nice little model kit for a low price, so I do recommend it in that regard, but you're going to have to be aware it's going to be very hard to pose him on those ankles. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new reviews up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, and video games, all kinds of fun stuff, so make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and in the meantime, keep collecting.